What's up, everybody? Welcome into Group Chat Sports. This is Group Chat Football Live. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for the latest news in the recruiting world, transfer portal, coaching movement, and much more across college football. I am Peter Ariz alongside D Money here, and it's a big week, man. This is what we live for. The transfer portal opens on Wednesday, so we're going to get into some speculation. Of course, Nico, Tennessee, that marriage is over. That was our last video we did last week. Before all of this became official, we kind of speculated this was trending the way that it was. So we'll get into that, possible landing spots for him, taking a look at some of the top needs for a couple of top programs in the country, Georgia and Ohio State. But let's start, D, in the high school ranks here as Wisconsin. Really nice pickup at the quarterback position out of California.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of guy that we love to talk about on this show with Ryan Hopkins. High 3-star, number 29 quarterback nationally, Newport Beach, California, Mater Dei High School. You may have heard of it, throwing to guys like Chris Henry, Caden Dixon-Wyatt, some of the best receivers in the country, one of the best, if not the best programs in the country. So he's won a lot of games, chose the Badgers over Missouri, Cal, Duke, and I really like the profile here, Pete. So, we like to talk about multiple sports and athletic backgrounds. It's kind of our thing we love to focus on. 10.97 in the 100 meters, and that's as a younger guy. It's not even probably his fastest time. So this is a legitimate dual threat, kind of a 4-4 type of quarterback. He's run in games. He's not just a guy that just runs on the track. He has a feel for the position when it comes to being that playmaker. His sister is a star soccer player. She went to Virginia, plays for the National Women's Soccer League, the North Carolina Courage. His dad got drafted by the Texas Rangers in baseball. So some athletic genes here. And as you can see on these highlights, man, this is a dynamic playmaker. It's interesting. We're so used to Wisconsin with these big pro-style quarterbacks, right, that backup type quarterbacks in the NFL, really good college players, just really reliable players running that offense. This is a whole different profile, more of a runner. And to me, it's an interesting profile because even though he's a California kid, you put him in Wisconsin with that big physical offensive line. Maybe it's hard to pass because it's windy, it's cold. You can run the ball not only with your running backs, which we know Wisconsin is going to do better than anybody, but with your quarterback. It's a look for a team that's been so running focused in their history. To add a running quarterback to the mix, I think is an exciting little wrinkle there.
Yeah, and it is interesting that this guy he's ranked 528 nationally by 247 Sports, but you're talking about a guy at one of the premier programs in the country with legit tools at the position. So to me, man, to say he's not a top 500 prospect in the country is pretty crazy to me, just watching the clips and knowing the athletic profile.
Wisconsin, look, for a program that sent a lot of guys to the pros, they're never getting the 5 stars. I think the only guy they got was really highly rated was Graham Mertz, went to the transfer into Florida. So this is more in line with what they get, which is guys with talent, guys with traits, really at every position is what they do, right? Even Jonathan Taylor was not the highest ranked player, but he was a track guy. He had the size. They like to get guys with physical traits and develop them. That goes across regimes there in Wisconsin. And I think that's what you have here. You do see throwing talent as well.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think this is.
Look at him change the arm angle there.
We've seen, Pete, so many times. If you look at the majority of quarterbacks in the NFL that are really the stars, let's just talk about the star quarterbacks in the NFL, right? Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. Let's say those are the 4 best. Let's throw Jalen Hurts in there as well. Just won the Super Bowl. Those 5. All 5 of those guys had serious passing questions coming out of high school. None of them were polished passers out of high school. They were all 3 stars. I believe Burrow was like a borderline 3-4, depending on the publication. Hurts was a 4-star, but Hurts running quarterback coming out. Lamar definitely running. Burrow more of a basketball player. Urban Meyer always tells a story about he couldn't throw half as good as Dwayne Haskins when he got him. And then, of course, Mahomes, 3-star, Josh Allen, no star. When you get these athletic guys with ability and you see the sidearm, of course, you see the running, a lot of times they can be developed into big-time passers as long as they have the raw athleticism, the raw arm talent, and the right demeanor. So when I look at this kid, I see somebody who's kind of a ball of clay. He's got to gain some weight. Now it's going to be cold up there, but look at the physicality, willing to put his shoulder down. That'll do well in Camp Randall. I just think he's the kind of guy that is a developmental player, but the right kind of player to take based on what we know about quarterbacks, based on the fact that if you need a solid guy to get you through a season, you can always go to the transfer portal. I would rather take swings on players like this who can develop as passers like the best quarterbacks in the league have done. Not saying he's going to do that, but I'm saying if they can do it and be the best players in the entire sport, other guys can do it to different degrees. I think he can develop. And I like the approach from Wisconsin and Luke Fickell to bet on traits.
Yeah, without a doubt. And he is commitment number 5 for this Wisconsin class right now, 39th ranked in the country on the composite. Again, bread and butter is not always the high-rated recruiting classes for Wisconsin, but you'd imagine getting your quarterback in the fold now, you could probably see a trickle of some commits coming soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, we mentioned Luke Fickell. What did he do at Cincinnati? Evaluate. Desmond Ritter was forget about what he did in the pros. He was a pro, which is a win if you're talking about recruiting. But to lead Cincinnati to the playoff and have all the success he had there, that was also a developmental guy, athlete. I think he was a basketball player as well. So that was a developmental type of player. And I could see, I'm not saying comping, Hopkins to Ritter. I'm just saying that type of guy that develops that as a passer over time and uses his athleticism to get you out of games and manage games. I think it makes sense with what we know about Coach Fickell.